This is a short story called Listening to Technocybin. My girlfriend told me to just do what my father told me to do. She knew I hated my job at the company, but if I just did my job and smiled, things would work out. We all have to make sacrifices, she told me. But I don't want to be like them, I said. She laughed. But of course you do. You want to be strong and successful and pure like them, don't you? I wanted to say I didn't, but she was smiling at me. She pulled me closer and kissed me, and I forgot whatever it was I was thinking, and I told her I would see her that evening at 6. I got home a little later than normal, my head still swimming with anxiety and nervousness. I told her I really had to find another job. She laughed. It's a cold laugh, and I'm so shocked that I just freeze. Listen, she says, you don't need a different job. What you need is something to fix your depression and anxiety. Nothing helps, I say. I've talked to people and taken pills to numb my senses, but I'm still stuck with all this trauma from when I was a kid. Your father sent me this guy's number, she told me. What is it? I said, looking at the number. I don't know, she told me, but you once told me you'd do anything to make me happy. I sighed. The next day before breakfast, my girlfriend insisted we call the number. She was so excited and asked me so sweetly. I let her have her way. The guy on the other end of the phone sounded distorted and tired, but told me the cure was an injection that would completely alter my brain and cure any depression and anxiety. It sounded a little suspicious. Is it safe? I asked. It's worked on mice, he told me, after a long pause. I was hesitant, but my girlfriend insisted, and so she made an appointment, and we went to the address the man gave us. And we went downtown to a neighborhood that seemed vacant of people, just empty, broken down buildings. We went to a lone standing but heavily fire damaged building and knocked. The door opened and we went in and waited. I wasn't too excited. It smelled like cat piss and looked like a mess. When the man from the phone came, covered in scrub that looked and smelled like they had never been washed, I was even less excited. But my girlfriend pressed me on, promising me a surprise for later. So I went in, the tech pulled out a syringe, and I hesitated. Don't worry, he said. It's a highly altered cybernetic clone of psilocybin. It helps to change the mind. Not just the brain, mind you, but the mind. He smiled. I flinched and stepped back, but he jabbed me anyway, in the butt. My brain is up here, I said, pointing to my head. The technocybin will find it, he said, and he winked at me and left. I left too, collected my girlfriend, and we went home. The next day was Saturday, and I felt happy for the first time, maybe since I was a kid. I literally jumped out of bed and cooked pancakes for my girlfriend and I. I even told her that I was thinking we should go back to that show we had been talking about but putting off. Aren't you glad I pushed you to get that injection? She asked. And I was. It was a perfect day. We ate pancakes, saw that show again. It was a local group doing the Book of Mormon. And toured the old town before watching the sunset together. She tells me things are only going to get better from here on out before kissing me goodnight. The next day, I felt just as good as the day before, but I started to notice something strange. My own voice, which I was subconsciously used to, suddenly seemed a little smaller. As I went about my day making plans for me and my girlfriend on Sunday, it was as if someone else was doing everything and I was in the background, watching. I was still happy, to be sure, but it was strange. But even stranger was the next day at work. I'm happy. At work, I'm happy. Everything goes perfectly, and I'm even given a promotion. I don't know what's up with you, my father said, but keep it up. All the while, The me that I know has shrunk into a tiny corner of my brain, and a stranger, a perfect, beautiful stranger, has taken over my body and mind. It takes all my focus and energy to scream, "I want my body and mind back." My wife laughs, then tells me to let go of my past and my trauma. She tells me she'll give me a little surprise. I tell her no. I say I want my mind back, and I struggle. But she laughs. She laughs as my screams disappear in the distance, and she and her now perfect boyfriend continue on their life. I never read the fine print, but if I had, I would have read that this technocybin completely rewires the brain, making it into an exact replica of what the National Institutes of Mental Health have determined is a perfect brain, free of any neurosis or trauma. And for a while, only the rich could afford this technocybin, but pretty soon, the only people who could survive were those that had their brains fixed of humanity. The people of the future would joke that they were gods. They weren't, but they certainly thought that they were.